I'm just trying to decide if I'm comfortable even talking about that.
This one's wife, her goldmine. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. There's plenty of comment about how the Sussexes may well be running out of money, and there is evidence to support that there is likely to be a problem in that regard. High expenses and no appreciable income moving forward. There doesn't appear to be anything in the pipeline. This, of course, is a problem for anybody that their outgoings exceed their income, and especially so for someone as high profile as this one's wife, with the attendant threats to control that this causes. I've explained to you elsewhere that this pending problem is something that may well hasten the disengagement of Harry, because his particular residual benefits are no longer deemed appropriate, and could well cause this one's wife to sniff out an alternative victim who is wealthy. Notwithstanding this, however, there is a suggestion that a goldmine exists for this one's wife. As per Jamie Roberts writing in the Mirror, this one's wife is sitting on a gold mine, which could fix financial crisis, claims expert. And I dare say many of you groan, learning that there might be something that would fix her financial crisis, that you'd rather she disappeared into penury and obscurity as a consequence of running out of the dosh. This one's wife and Prince Harry's Netflix contract is nearing its end, with many wondering what the Sussexes will do next for income. With further book deals, endorsements, and even property moves touted as a moneymaker for the couple, it remains to be seen what their next power play will be. However, one expert believes former actress This One's Wife could be sitting on a gold mine that the couple can reap the rewards from. Following the success of Harry's memoir, titled Spare, royal expert Tom Bower thinks it would be This One's Wife's autobiography that could bring in the money for the couple. The author of Revenge, This One's Wife, Harry and the War Between the Windsors, told Talk TV, "The only thing she has got left, and I think that is her potential gold mine, is her autobiography. She has a very, very vivid imagination, and she'll be able to spell out an amazing story to increase her income." Thus, that's the view of Tom Bower. Now, I have to say I disagree with him with regard to her having a vivid imagination. Perhaps I think what he means is that she tells porcupines, which you might say is part of having imagination, but I would suggest that someone who's imaginative is able to envisage things, who is able to conjure up other worlds, create characters, create scenarios. She hasn't that, because she's essentially dull and beige. What she is adept at, of course, is reinventing history, rewriting and revising it for the purposes of gaining the prime aims, which some would interpret as having a vivid imagination. Certainly, an autobiography by This One's Wife would be absolutely chock full of nonsense generated by her narcissism. To the extent that it could get past lawyers, it would make for an entertaining read. Not because it's intrinsically interesting in itself, she's actually rather boring, but rather there would be many grudge readings that would occur. Yes, there would be that small rump of supporters who are genuinely interested in her as she being their hero. But for other people, it would be more of a case of that morbid curiosity to see what lies she comes up with, what smearing that she engages in, what porky pies she will tell about other individuals. And remember, her lies are her truth, and the writing of an autobiography would be advantageous to her because, one, it would enable her to assert control over many people, the royal family, past people she's had relationships with, former friends, other family members on her side, and so forth. She would draw fuel by people's reactions to it because, naturally, should she release a book, all of the media outlets would be quoting sections of it and commenting about it and reporting on the revelations. And, of course, it would enable her to manage her facade whilst generating a fair old chunk of income for her. Thus, Tom Bower is correct in the sense that it is a very inviting prospect for her. Will it happen, though? The problem for her is this takes some effort, and she's intrinsically lazy. It might be that if a ghostwriter was hired, similar to what Harry did, and so long as she knew that she had the appropriate control over that person, that they would write what she wanted to be written, that she would just sit and talk rather than spend the time to actually write it. Lord knows she certainly has the time to write an autobiography because she doesn't really do anything. But remember, that intrinsic laziness may well be something that will prevent her from doing it. It all is dependent upon the level of financial pressure that she comes under. Whilst there are many attractions for her vis-a-vis the prime aims for writing a book, it might be easier just to ensnare somebody else who's got money and obtain financial security and that residual benefit that way. Returning to the article, the claim came after Tom Bower had already told Talk TV that he believes this one's wife first came to London in a bid to boost her acting career. He said the problem is she isn't a great actress. Her acting career ended long before she arrived in London. That's why she came here. She couldn't find any more work after Suits. This one's wife and Harry's company, Archwell Productions, is said to be facing soaring costs in the entertainment industry, following last year's actors and writers' strikes. It's now been suggested that the couple could be facing a make-or-break year, which could see them end up in financial crisis. The article then reiterates what we've known already about the fact that there's a lack of original content and the various adaptation, or the adaptation which is apparently in the pipeline. A book would be a goldmine for her for the reasons that I have explained, and it would enable her to settle certain scores, something which she truly relishes doing, as we saw, with Archetypes, which was a one-woman crusade as she ticked off various descriptions that had clearly been labelled in her direction, whilst boring the world into a coma. She believes that the world ought to know her story. She believes there is much that she has yet to tell. But of course, what would be created would have a very distant relationship with the truth, because it would all be written through the prism of her narcissism, and would therefore be chock full with revisions of history, out-and-out lies, fabrications, exaggerations, and therefore, whilst entertaining in that regard, would actually contain little of substance, very much like the author. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.